a prediction, a statement about what you think will happen in the future. And at the beginning of this season, I tried so hard. I gave it the due diligence that a quest of this magnitude deserves. But ultimately, when you predict anything in football, you are setting yourself up for a massive, massive fall. So, without further ado, shall we see how I got on? The relegation zone. Weirdly, I think Brentford could struggle this year. Their squad just feels so thin. You know, that new striker that they signed, that Igor Thiago, he got injured the second that he arrived at the club. He's out now until the new year. If Ivan Toney leaves, they are just so lacking in quality. And ultimately, for Brentford to be in the Premier League, I do think it's unsustainable. They're a tiny football club who have done very well to get to the Premier League. But ultimately, they are not a Premier League club. The infrastructure of Brentford is not a Premier League club. Every year that they've survived has been impressive, and I commend them for that. But ultimately, Brentford could go this year. I'm therefore going to go with Southampton will be relegated. Leicester will be relegated. And Brentford will be relegated. Ipswich are going to survive. So of the three teams that have ultimately been relegated, two of them I predicted correctly, but I went a little bit rogue with the third. I said Brentford. I dreamed that Ipswich would survive, and I thought that what Brentford have done for so long would ultimately run out of steam. I believe that the brilliance of Brentford is ultimately unsustainable, but I was wrong. Thomas Frank is a genius, and Wissa and Buemo, Damsgaard, they are sensational footballers who have delivered an unbelievable season for their club. I was wrong. I tried it, but I got caught. I went for that left field, unpredictable shout. I got two of them right, but my Brentford shout has been drastically proved to be incorrect. Maybe next year I'll be more formulaic. The easy thing to do is simply say that the three teams that came up will go back down. But I really do believe that there'll be a curveball. I've got to think this through for next year. But so far, 2 out of 3. Next up, top goal scorer. Easy as that, isn't it? Erling Haaland. Nobody's going to come close. Nobody's going to stop him. Even if he has an off-season, he will score more than anyone else. There are, of course, the honourable mentions. Mohamed Salah is a guarantee. But will he guarantee more than Haaland? I don't think he will. If Ivan Toney were to get the move, if Ivan Toney were to be maybe leading the line for Manchester United, linking up with Marcus Rashford, maybe Toney could rival. No, it's Erling Haaland. Now here I am fuming, livid, angry with myself, simply because I, more than anyone I know, more than any of my dear friends within this space, acknowledge the brilliance of Mohamed Salah. I will forever talk about Mohamed Salah as a great. Look at the pinned video on this very channel. The video is titled, How Mohamed Salah Became the Best Footballer in the World, and somehow I haven't predicted him. I've let myself down. I've listened to the noise. I haven't been true to myself. There is a lesson in this. How haven't I predicted Mohamed Salah to win the Golden Boot this season? I always believe in Mohamed Salah. The predictability of Mohamed Salah is what makes him a great. The consistency is unrivaled. And yet somehow I've gone for the de rigueur. I've gone for the obvious choice. I've gone for the basic answer. I must be better. I must be true to myself. How could I ever say Erling Haaland? I don't rate him. I don't think he's particularly good. I could always foresee that Haaland would falter at some point because he isn't special and he is rather limited. How did I back Haaland here? I listened to too many people. Salah for the Golden Boot. Obviously, I will never make this mistake again. Truly gutted with myself here because I'm better than that. I am better than that. And anyone who watches this channel regularly will know that I am better than that. The one thing I will always do is acknowledge the dazzling quality of Mohamed Salah. How have I let myself get corrupted by that Nordic prince? Never again. This stops here. Desperately annoying. Next up, first manager sacked. I mean, I don't want to do this, but the sensible money has to be on Enzo Maresca. Of course, Enzo Maresca is most likely to lose his job first. You know, Chelsea as a club have often changed managers. This new ownership, however, are something else altogether. In 2 full seasons at the club, Clearlake have had 6 managers. 6! 6 in 2 years. We're averaging 3 a year. Yeah, I'm doing it right. I'm sure I am. Right, so when they came in, it was Thomas Tuchel. They got rid of Thomas Tuchel, and in came Graham Potter. Graham Potter got the tin tack. What happened? We had that bald dude. Remember that Bruno Salter? He came in for a game, I think. Lampard then had to come back. Mauricio Pochettino did 1 season, and now we're with Enzo Maresca. That's 6 managers in 2 seasons. Now, Enzo Maresca may be great. I desperately hope he is. I will be over the moon if Enzo Maresca is a genius. But we don't know if he is. So there is, therefore, jeopardy. Managing Leicester in the Championship should not give you the Chelsea job. Look, let's hope it works. But surely everybody, whether you're a Chelsea fan or not, if you are trying to predict who will be the first manager sacked next season, Everybody is going to say Enzo Maresca here, aren't they? I said Enzo Maresca. And I think that was an informed, precise shout. You learn from the history. History teaches us about the future. And everything that we have learned about Chelsea under Clearlake is that there is a rapid turnover of managers at the club. So I don't think it was a wild shout to say that Enzo Maresca would be sacked. The answer, however, was Erik ten Hag. Difficult to predict. Difficult to predict off the back of them winning the cup. Difficult to predict off the back of the euphoria of them winning the cup. The emotional decision that was made to persevere with him should have been an inkling. The clues were in fact there. But it felt to me like Manchester United had backed their man. They'd backed him massively in the transfer market. They'd backed him massively off the back of that victory in the FA Cup against Man City. Off the back of him depriving Man City of the double. Whilst I didn't necessarily rate Erik ten Hag as a brilliant manager, I did think off the back of that vote of confidence from Sir Jim Ratcliffe that he would outlast someone in the Premier League. But I was wrong. And annoyingly, with hindsight, it feels like the clues were there. It feels like this one was predictable. If I'd truly thought about this, yes, they backed him. Yes, they won the cup. But Erik ten Hag was always on a hiding to nothing at that club. And again, not quite as bad as the Salah moment, but I've let myself down here. But nothing comes close to what you are about to see. Are you ready for this? Play the clip. Next up is the absolute banker. I have one. Tottenham Hotspur will end the season empty-handed. Tottenham Hotspur will not win any silverware next season. And that is a guarantee. It's a fact. It's a spoiler. It's not a prediction. Tottenham Hotspur 100% will not win any silverware because Tottenham Hotspur are an illusion. 2 League Cups since 1991. And they tell you that they're a good cup team. We're the first team that won the double, mate. Yeah, that may be true. But Tottenham last won the league closer to the Victorian era than it is to today. That's how long ago Tottenham have succeeded. Ironically, they're the club that like to talk about the game being about glory. But trust me, guarantee you this, Tottenham Hotspur win nothing next season. ATAF. And that's a fact. I don't think that I possess the vocabulary to do justice to how badly I got this wrong. I think you need to find somebody more intelligent, more articulate, more worthy to do justice to quite how bad this is. My banker was that Tottenham wouldn't win silverware. It feels like a good... I can't do this, can I? I was about to try and justify it. I was about to talk about the 2 League Cups since 1991. I was about to talk about the fact that they went over 40 years without a European trophy. I was about to talk about the fact that their manager's pedigree came from the Whittlesea Zebras and Celtic. But sometimes in life, Rory, and you're learning, every day is a school day, you learn when to shut it. You learn when to put a sock in it. And maybe now, you hand over to our editor, you let Ange Postecoglou have his moment in the sun, and quite frankly, you let the clip do the talking.
I'm going to answer the question, or you're going to keep asking it? No, absolutely. And I think I'll correct myself. I don't usually win things. I always win things in my second year. Nothing's changed.
So I concede that this prediction is the pits. My top 4 shout. I got 3 of the 4 right, but the one I got wrong, I couldn't have got more wrong. I can find no glory in getting 3 of the 4 right. Now, there are 2 teams that we know will finish in the top 4 regardless of where they finish the season. Those 2 teams are Manchester City and Arsenal. So let's not talk about them at the moment. Let's focus on the 2 other spots up for grabs. Realistically, as impressive as Unai Emery is, as brilliant as Eddie Howe can be, as unpredictable as Chelsea are, I feel like there are only 2 teams, really. I feel like it will be in 3rd spot Liverpool, and in 4th spot, I believe it will be Manchester United. Now, I hope I'm wrong there, but that is the way that I see it going. I think Aston Villa will really be knocking on the door, but I think that the arduous nature of Champions League football is going to hit that squad massively. And Manchester United will finish 4th, which I think would be a good season for Erik ten Hag. He has got some big issues to resolve. They need to sort the injuries out. They need to bolster the squad. They need to sort out this unenviable situation that they have with Jadon Sancho. And overall, look, there were moments where it wasn't good enough. In the league, in the Champions League, it wasn't good enough, but there was an injury crisis like no other at Manchester United, and I believe that Manchester United this season will get 4th. Manchester United to make it into the top 4. I said that Manchester United as an institution will be strong enough, and I have learned something. Learned something this week. I will never, ever do this again. Manchester United have been redefined. I have had the epiphany moment that I desperately needed with regard to Manchester United. I've constantly said that the institution will carry them. I've constantly said that the heritage of the club will carry them. I've constantly said that Manchester United are always capable of anything. That will never happen again. I have recalibrated my brain to no longer see Manchester United in a glorious light. They are now nothing. Finished. Kaput. average. And I will never, ever do this again. You have my word. I've been ingrained to believe that Manchester United are constantly capable of pulling it out of the bag. You know, when I look at the fixtures and it will say Wolverhampton Wanderers are playing Manchester United, I'll say United will beat them. When I see Bournemouth are playing Manchester United, I'm conditioned to believe Manchester United will beat them no more. This is my eureka moment. You will never see me gloriously predict anything from Manchester United again. Ever. Because the events in Bilbao pressed restart on that club. They are not the club that I grew up with. They are not the club that institutionalised me through the 90s. I actually believe that this Manchester United prediction is the worst of the lot. Like the Tottenham one does not age well. But this, drastically wrong. But it's not my fault. My brain has been corrupted through years of success and dominance by Man United. No more, I'm a new man. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all popsicles in my way. Next up, the title. The champions, the history makers will be Arsenal Football Club. Before we go any further, I need to passionately let you know that I desperately hope I am wrong here. But if we are honest, if we just look at the facts, Arsenal Football Club going to win the league. And the reason is because they only finished 2 points behind Manchester City last season. It is there for them. They are capable of doing it. They made history last season. And as Martin Odegaard said, last season they made history. Next season's about silverware. And annoyingly, I believe him. The experience of not winning it. They can use the pain and agony that they suffered last season to propel them towards a title this season. They're a young, hungry, exciting team with exceptional players, and they are ready to win the league. You think about the player that Bukayo Saka will be next season off the back of everything that happened to him last season. Think about the player that Declan Rice will be next season off the back of everything that happened to him last season. Think about the knowledge, the nous, the understanding, the know-how of everyone at the club who didn't win the league last year and finished second the year before. When you are perennially knocking on the door, at some point, someone opens it. And the other reason is because Manchester City simply cannot win 5 in a row. I've gone for Arsenal, and I backed that choice at the time. I think at the time it was a sensible shout. History has not been kind to that shout, but at the time it made sense. Surely you're with me on this. Okay, it was proved wrong, but I did predict that Manchester City were not going to win the league. So I was on the right path. I could see that the evolution of Manchester City was coming to the end, and I predicted somebody else would win the league. I just got that prediction wrong. I didn't anticipate the genuine brilliance of Arne Slot. And to be totally frank, I overestimated Mikel Arteta. But I do believe this to be a sane shout at the time and quite an intelligent shout at the time. Or am I being generous to myself here? Arteta had accrued 89 points the previous season. He had finished second twice. They'd made some interesting signings and Manchester City were on the wane. All of that information combined made me fairly confident that Arsenal were finally going to win the title for over 2 decades. But it was proved wrong. It was proved wrong because Arne Slot is a king. It was proved wrong because Mohamed Salah is a genius. It was proved wrong because Virgil van Dijk is a great. And it was proved wrong because Ryan Gravenberch is the gift that keeps giving. They are the things that I didn't predict. But my shout that Arsenal, too generous on myself here. Wrong. Right, player of the year. For me, it's between two. It's between Bukayo Saka or Phil Foden. And it's so difficult. Saka is amazing. Like, Bukayo Saka is a genius. A joy to watch. A wonderful player with so much guile and end product. And Phil Foden is one of the most masterful, unpredictable, mercurial footballers I have ever had the privilege of watching. I think he is a star. A genuine world-class footballer. It is so difficult to separate these two. But because I think Arsenal are going to win the league, I think that will propel Bukayo Saka ahead of Phil Foden in this conversation. Now, I believe that I got really unlucky here because Bukayo Saka is world class. And if Bukayo Saka's injury didn't occur, I believe that he would have undoubtedly secured Player of the Year. He's unplayable. He's better than basically anything. He's a top-tier footballer who, for one reason or another, doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. And I stand by this. You know, I've tried to be honest here. I've tried to admit when I got it wrong and I've tried to take it on the chin. But I truly believe if Bukayo Saka's injury didn't occur, this prediction would have been proved right. I said Saka for Player of the Year and I truly, truly believed it. I think he is a mesmerising footballer, capable of being compared to the very best in the world. And even as Arsenal faltered, he shone. I'll apologise for a lot, but I will not apologise for predicting Bukayo Saka to be Player of the Year. Very close. Put this one down to bad luck. And finally, my surprise package of the season. Now, I got it wrong, but I didn't get it drastically wrong. I know the answer. The answer is Fulham. Like, Marco Silva has had his first settled pre-season since being at the club. They had a great season last year, and I think they're going to use that as a springboard to go one better next season. Think about what they did last year. Historic wins. They beat Arsenal. They beat Manchester United. They made it to a League Cup semi-final. Made an excellent signing in Emile Smith-Rowe as well, and he's hit the ground running. 2 goals in 2 pre-season games for him. And the attacking options for Fulham are actually immense. If you think about it, they've got Emile Smith-Rowe, Iwobi, Pereira, Adama Traore, Sessegnon, and Harry Wilson's there as well. I think that they are going to be a real force next season. Fulham are going to finish in the top 8. I think the surprise package of the season was probably Nottingham Forest. A gentle homage here to maybe Bournemouth. Fulham have gone off the boil lately, but they still sit in 10th, which is hugely impressive. They had an excellent cup run, and what they are building there is very, very impressive. This was wrong. I'm not saying I got this right, but I think I was on the scale of being right, which when your predictions are as off as mine are, you've got to take that as victory. You know, you find your wins where you can find them. So there we have it. A painful video, never fun, but I have done my best to be as true and honest and just as possible. I've reacted to my Premier League predictions. Next year, mate, next year, the video will be out when? Late July? I will get them right. I will learn from the mistakes I made. I will never doubt the main men. And I will undoubtedly be crowned the reigning king of Premier League predictions, probably. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, do me a massive favour. Click subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. In a bit.